What is up, 7th grade? This is lesson 1. Our objective is how to do arithmetic with whole numbers and money, and how do you evaluate with variables. So before we get too far into this lesson, we need to cover some terminology, which is all here in this red. So first of all, counting numbers, or also known as natural numbers, are just numbers that you kind of naturally count with. So if you were to count chairs in the room, let's say, you'd say 1 chair, 2 chairs, 3 chairs, 4 chairs, 5 chairs, 6 chairs, etc. But then, of course, we realize that we need a bigger number set than just the counting numbers, because we realize that if you took out all the chairs in the room, then you would need to also add 0 into that. So the whole numbers is exactly like the counting numbers, except for it also has 0 in there. So we're talking about whole numbers, it goes 0 chairs, 1 chair, 2 chairs, 3 chairs, etc. Consecutive are just simply numbers that are next to each other. So like maybe you could say, 3 and 4, what we call consecutive numbers, because they're next to each other. Or 7 or 8, or 20 and 21. Operations of arithmetic. Some basic operations of arithmetic are addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And in these, we have just some terminologies here. So in addition, we take an add-in, and then we add another add-in, and we get a sum. So like 2 plus 2, those two 2's are what we call add-ins, and then the answer 4 is what we call the sum. In subtraction, we have a minuend and subtrahend, and then a difference. So maybe 4 minus 2, you give me 2, or maybe I should say 4 minus 1. 4 is the minuend, 1 is the subtrahend, and the difference, being 3, it would be 3. For multiplication, we have factors, factor times factor, so maybe 2 times 3. Those are both factors, and then 6 would be the product, the answer. For division, we have a dividend, a divisor, and a quotient. So a dividend, let's say 6, divisor of 2, the quotient would be 3, because 6 divided by 2 is 3. Also, there's a couple other ways to write that. You could put the dividend underneath this bar, and the divisor would come outside, and the answer, or the quotient, would be up there. And you can also write it as a fraction with the dividend on top, the divisor on the bottom, and then the quotient would be on the right. So let's try some of these. It says, this sign is incorrect. Show 2 ways to correct the sign. Well, notice that the decimal place is here, 0.45, but then it says cents. So there's 2 different ways that we could correct this. One of them would be to say that it is $0.45, which would mean 45 cents. The other way would just be to say 45 cents. What this is saying is 0.45 of a cent, so it'd be a little bit less than half of a penny per glass. So what they're meaning is 45 cents or 45 cents. That's what they mean by that. Name a whole number that is not a counting number. Well, remember, whole numbers are numbers like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. And counting numbers just go 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. So the only one that's a whole number that's not a counting number would be that 0. When the product of 4 and 4 is divided by the sum of 4 and 4, what is the quotient? Okay, so let's just break this up a little bit. When the product, that means the answer, of 4 and 4, so that means 4 times 4, the product comes out to be 16. So that's that one right there. So when the product of 4 and 4 is divided by the sum, so let's go a different color here, sum of 4 and 4, sum of 4 and 4 means 4 plus 4. So the sum is the answer of that, which would be 8. And then we're wanting the product is divided by the sum. So that would be 16 divided by the sum. Okay, I got that from here and here. What is the quotient? So we want to know the answer. What is 16 divided by 8? Well, the answer is 2. Simplify by adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing as indicated. So let's look here at D. We'll start off there. I'm going to add those all up with addition. I like to go vertically. So $1.75. Notice it says 60 cents. So I'm going to convert that into dollars and say 0.60. And then $3. So it'd be 3.00. So now I'll add those up. So $5.35. E is $2 minus 47 cents. So remember, on addition and subtraction, we want to make sure and line up the decimal places there. I have to borrow on this. It's going to be 10, 9, 3, 9 minus 4 is 5, 1 minus 0 is 1. So $1.53. F. That is 5 times 65 cents. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say 0.65, that's 65 cents, times 5. 5 times 5 is 25. That's 32. And then remember your decimal place here, it came over 1, 2 here. Didn't come over any there, so I need to go 1, 2. So my answer is going to be 3.25 dollars. G, 250 times 24. 4 times 0 is 0. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 2 is 8. Plus 2 more is going to give me 10. 0 to hold the place value. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 5 is 10. 0, carry the 1. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 more is 5. Add those up. 0, 0, 0, 6. You have to come over here. H is going to be 24 divided by 5. Well, 5 does not fit into 2, so I'll put a 0. 5 does, however, fit into 24 if it's in there 4 times. 4 times 5 is 20. Subtract and get 4. Bring down a 0. 5 goes into 40 8 times. 8 times 5 is 40. So my answer is going to be 4.8. And then I is my last one. And this is again a division problem. So it's going to be 234 divided by 18. It doesn't go into 2, but it goes into 23 one time. Whenever I subtract, to borrow, 13 minus 8 is 5. That's going to be 0. Bring down the 4. So I'm going to estimate real quick. I'm going to think for sure 2 times, right? Because if 18 was 20, then it would be like 60 if I multiplied it by 3. So I think it is going to be 3. Let's try that 3 here. 3 times 8 is 24. 3 times 3 is 3 plus 2 is 5. So yes, sure enough. So my answer is going to be 13. Just that's a quick review of what you already know, hopefully. And then we have a little bit more that we want to cover here. And first of all, before we go on to these next examples, we need to remember what this symbol means. And remember, we say this equals. And that means that whatever's on the other side, or that they're both the same thing, means same on both sides. So, for instance, 3 would equal to 3. 7 would equal to 7. And if we had x equals 4, that means x is the same thing as 4. X and 4 would be the same thing, because this right here tells me that x and 4 are the same thing. So coming down here, then it says evaluate each expression for a is equal to 20 and b is equal to 4. So notice b is equal to 4 and a is equal to 20. So as we come to j, it says a plus b. Remember, a is 20 plus b, which is 4. So I'm saying 20 plus 4, which is going to give me 24. Moving to k, it says a minus b. Remember, a is 20, and then b is 4. So 20 minus 4 is going to give me 16. On I, now it is a times b, so it's going to be 20 times 4. So that's going to be 0, 80. And then m is going to be a again, 20 divided by 4. Maybe writing this another way would be 20 divided by 4, which we will know goes into that 5 times. Alright, your homework, if you haven't seen it already, is on page 11. You're going to do 1 through 30 all. Good luck.